Hello, y'all on YouTube. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome, YouTube. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. YouTube is in the building. How everybody? How is everybody? Come on into the live. Yeah, what's up? They're checking the connection to see if we're going to be on Instagram. Instagram, come on in. Instagram is here. It's okay. They're trying to bring us back to Facebook. They're trying to bring us back. They haven't done yet. They haven't done so yet. They haven't done so yet. How is everybody? How's everybody? The Democrats' finesse game. How's everyone in the house? All right. So, welcome everyone. Okay. The topic today is the Grinch that stole the election, the presidential selection. Do blacks prefer the Biden plantation instead of the Trump plantation? We're going to be talking about that today on the Lawyer Henderson Show. Come on in. Yep. All right, so while we're waiting to come on in, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel while we bring everybody into the house. 516-418-5867 if you want to call in. 516-418-5867. Don't forget Foolish American Politics. Let's discuss the issue. It is on Barnes and Nobles. It is on Barnes and Nobles. Okay, so get your copy today. If you want to basically get a copy for $20 off, which is retail price is $20, you can call me right now. I'll give you $10 off if you purchase with me by calling in today at 516-418-5867. Again, 516-418-5867. All right. I was listening to all of the other people in the black media. I was listening to Tariq Nasheed. I was listening to Dr. Umar Johnson. I was listening to Queen Adalia Shakur, Vicki Dillard. I was listening to everybody about the presidential selection. I was listening to everyone, trying to get a lot of things about the presidential elections, a lot of advice. And unfortunately, I also was listening to Roly Poly Martin, which I don't really listen to Roly Poly Martin on anything, because it's obviously that Roly Poly Martin is strictly for the Democrats. Okay. So we got the older black generation. You got to take them with a grain of salt. You got to really say that they are just going to basically stay on the Democratic plantation forever. Okay. They're going to stay on the Democratic plantation forever. Now, that doesn't mean that just because we're criticizing the Democrats that we're for Republicans. I know a lot of people, they like to use that because they don't have no other kind of argument for you. So they'll say some bull crap like that. Okay. But man, yeah, the presidential selection finally has ended, or has it? Because now Trump is talking about going to the Supreme Court, and he's basically is trying to stop the vote in Pennsylvania. And in Georgia, here in Georgia, they were sending out so many ballots. They were sending out so many in the mail. And So they're basically Trump is saying, along with Rudolph Giuliani, his personal attorney, is saying that there's even dead people voting in the presidential selection. Okay, so now this might go to the Supreme Court, in which Trump has the Supreme Court on his side right now because it's now really conservative with the approval of this latest Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett, in which I did a whole entire piece on, that Trump was recruiting people who basically, these judges who were not really capable of really being fair as far as their ruling. The Supreme Court, even with the liberal Supreme Court justice, has not been fair. So that goes to show, that there was no real fairness at all. Okay. The number to call in is 516-418-5867. I want to welcome you to the Lawyer Henderson podcast show here. We're we're on Blog Talk Radio. You can hear us live right now. If you go to Blog Talk Radio /Cinema City Pictures, you'll hear me live screen. Also, don't forget that we are also on YouTube and Instagram Live, and we should be back on Facebook within a month or so. But today's topic is the Grinch that stole the election. Do blacks prefer the Biden plantation? And we're going to be talking about that entirely tonight. We're not going to be talking about anything else. Typically, when I come on, I talk about other things. But I want to get into this and stay into it for the whole time we're on. Okay? Some news around the country. I typically come on and talk about that. But I want to focus on this tonight. I want to focus on why it was important for the Democrats to steal this election. And that's not a support for Trump. Now, as Tariq Nasheed pointed out, if we're going to get Trump out, let's get it the right way. Let's do this the right way. Let's not basically cheat in getting this man out of office. Because if we cheat, then further down the line, it opens up doors for more cheating on both sides. And you have the Republicans say, okay, since y'all cheated, we're going to steal the election and try to cheat next time. And we've seen this, of course, possibly with the Bush administration back in 2000. So it is a situation where the cheating is there. And that all of this manipulation, voting fraud, and all this stuff is there. So I'm not really saying that they're not. But we're talking about Black power. We're talking about our tangibles. And we're talking about the promise that Trump made versus Joe Biden made as far as what he's going to do for the Black community. Now, when he made his victory speech, if it was to be called that, he stated, yes, once again, the Black American people in the United States that came through for him. The 47 years he's been in office, what have he done for Black folks, though? So now this selection that he has, he basically owe us something because we came out for him. Okay? So there's nobody who can't say that if we came out for him, that he does not owe us anything in his term. Now, this is only going to be his only term, because the man is so old, he ain't going to be able to remember his damn name within 3 or 4 years. Y'all come on in, 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867. Don't forget, for those people who are on Instagram, if your live cut out, just go ahead and come to YouTube and stream with me there. I'm on YouTube, or you can listen in on Blog Talk Radio. Just find my host pin, Cinema City Pictures, Lawyer Henderson. I am your brother, your host, your friend to the end. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the house. The number to call in, if you would like to call in, is 516-418-5867, 516-418-5867. That's the number to call in. And also don't forget that we are basically we'll give you Foolish American Politics. Let's discuss the issues. $10 off if you call while the show is on air to get your book. We'll, give you cash out, send me the address, you'll get your book. All right. So the Grinch that stole the election. Now, the Grinch is a thief. The Grinch is a person who is slimy, who is basically sneaky. He basically has trigonometry up his sleeve. He tricks people out of things. That's the definition of a Grinch. Okay? The Grinch is able to lie. Okay? When the title is The Grinch that stole the presidential selection, remember the Grinch is the person who is mean-spirited and unfriendly. And so to understand how a Grinch operates, he operates as a tricky person. He smiles in your face. He's the person who will come up there and he will just kiss your babies and do all that. And we've seen that with Bill Clinton. We've seen with Bill Clinton where he was kissing all these black kids and he was smoking weed, but he didn't exhale. He got some head in the Oval Office. And so therefore, you had these comedians talking about that he has Negro tendencies, which is the reason why the black community voted for him back in 1993. And then again, when he ran again in 1996. Okay, I think he won re-election 96, 97, whatever. But the Grinch is the sneaky, conniving person. Okay? As the definition here in the dictionary say, a person who is mean-spirited and unfriendly. Okay? But the Grinch is more of a person that he spoils pleasure for other people. He spoils people's shine. The Grinch is a person who basically understands how to manipulate the masses of people, smiling in their face, laughing with them, saying that I can come with you together. Now, we saw the movie The Grinch, did we not? Okay. The fictional character created by Dr. Seuss. He was best known as the main character. He then realized that the holidays is deeper meaning that never considered. Inspired, he stopped the whole belonging from falling. And so here's the thing. We see the liberal politicians as friends. The black celebrity and the black middle class and the black religious class, the black middle class, and all of these black people who are married, the 42% of black folks who are married, not all, but most of them in what Dr. Umar Johnson calls the 5 areas of aristocracy, is always what? In a friendship with the Grinch. They're always in a friendship with the liberal. And why is it that the white liberal has never ever did anything for the black community, but they are black folks' friends? Okay? That's because they give the middle class certain types of crumbs. And so that then convince us to go out and vote liberal. We have to look at the ideal here that when a conniving person, a deceitful person, a person who believes that they're going to do better than this man, or that man or this woman or that woman basically is the person, the shiesty person you really got to watch out for. Donald Trump, of course, being a bad person who is telling the truth, who is saying boldly that he won't do anything for you, that's a little bit of a harsh person. You know, and black people do not like mean white slave masters. As Killer Mike talked about, Killer Mike says on Remote TV, is that we are arguing over two masters. We're arguing over which master is basically going to treat us right and fair, who's going to be less of a white supremacist person with an attitude, the less of two evils. And so now when you have Joe Biden as one, he's looked up on because of his relationship with Obama, his relationship with the Democratic Party teaches us that he's better to be a slave master for blacks than Trump, because Trump is the loudmouth white supremacist. He's the stubborn type white person. He's the slave master that basically is telling you, nigga, you do this, and he is more grumpy about it. And you better get it done. And if you don't, nigga, you'll be back here tomorrow doing the same thing. He is the slave master that basically speaks his mind. And this is hurting black folks' feelings. I don't want the mean slave master. The mean slave master is he's hurting my feelings. I'll do what the slave master say, but can he just turn it down a notch? And so now the powers that be got to come together on that plantation and then start to basically say in the background is that we don't need no more mean slave masters out here doing things. We gotta basically find a less hardcore white supremacist. That the slave master has to style now. He has to basically trick you now. He has to be he can't be ruthless. He can't just be going out here off script and talking all out of his head and telling people off and saying that this country is a shit country and that country is just, he is basically brutal. So what we have to do is, because these negroes will basically say, yes, I love it, now that the liberals are now in office. Okay? And all the other white supremacists are saying, we got the Negroes doing exactly what we want, but they are upset with the slave master who is basically showing you that I'm not going to do nothing for you Negroes. You're going to be up here doing what I say. And so the white elite says, no, we can't have the hardcore slave master telling black folks to basically do anything. They're upset. They're basically whining everywhere. Okay, just like children, they're crying because the harsh slave master, he is telling them the truth. So let's go get somebody who is going to smile at them. That slave master is going to basically be nice. He's going to be friendly. He's going to be kind. He's the one who met with Willie Lynch back in the day and taught how to, instead of doing this to your to your slaves, why don't you try this approach? Why don't you become more out loud aggressive? How the new slave master on the Biden Plantation will be different in a such. You've seen, of course, that Biden said that black folks came to his defense again. He's lied about the fact that he has so many black people out here that came over and overwhelmingly helped them to win and secure this nomination, which I still doubt. But these mail-in ballots were basically something happened here at 3 a.m. in the morning. From that time that you've seen these ballots happen, all the way to 3 o'clock, you had like a 1 hour or 2 hour situation there that where the count all of a sudden stopped. So the elitist people got on the phone and said, no, 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 no. Even though, despite the fact that Donald Trump is winning, we got to stop this process. We got to stop this process because the rest of the country want a what? A soft core white supremacist in office. They don't want the mean one who's telling them off. They don't want the one who's always putting his finger in their face. Let's get a soft core white supremacist. Let's get the white supremacist who is going to smile in our faces and smile in the rest of the nation's faces and smile in black folks' face and all these other countries who is relying upon the United States as far as power as such. You see, you had, of course, other nations, as soon as Joe Biden won office, you had everybody else immediately calling him, saying, I'm willing to work with you. Okay, but wait a minute, Joe Biden. You just came out and said that it was black folks who overwhelmingly came out for you. Are you going to do something for the black community is the question. That's the question. Regardless of whether or not we know that you stole the election, fine. Okay? Black people, you want Joe Biden over Donald Trump, fine. I have no problem with it. Okay? Now, you're right. Donald Trump has not done anything for the black community. Okay? I'm the first to agree with you on that. Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Okay, fine. Let's say that. Okay, let's say it. Okay, but what can we say about Joe Biden? Is there going to be anybody who is going to admit that this man has been, uh, engaging in legislation for 47 years against black folks? Are we going to have any so-called black liberals who believe in the facts? Or are we going to just ignore him and Kamala Harris's record and say then that despite them putting black folks in jail, as I call them, the two dynamic duo of putting your kids in the prison system. This is your prison system duo. These two of them have the history of locking black folks up and basically allowing these crooked cops, these thugs with badges, to get away with the crime as well. Kamala Harris been the top cop, as she said, in California, in knowing the evidence that black people were free, using them for a labor situation and slaves as well when they're in the prison system. You got to understand that this is the situation that we're facing. Okay? There's a distinction without a difference. You have a soft core white supremacist, you have a loudmouth white supremacist. And black people are crying all over here. Did you see that black representative? I forget what she was from. She went out there screaming, yes, you got women out here just ripping and hollering, yeah, woo, woo, woo. You understand? And we're going to talk about Van Jones here in a minute. But, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden had sat in the White House. Been in politics for 47 years. And what has he done? So Trump is right to call them out on this election. He's right. The white media keeps saying that there's no evidence of fraud when you have people voting who were basically already, deceased, voting. He's not lying about that. Come on. So now that Joe Biden is in office, is he's going to keep his promise to Black America? Is he's going to keep his promise of doing what he says that he's going to do for Black people? Or is it going to be the same old that what we saw, of course, with Obama? Okay? And Black people, in a sense, who vote for the liberals. I told you that the five aristocracy wants to keep the Black people in a segmented labor market. They're no different from the white oppressive class. They want to keep us in a state where we're just working class. See, they want us to go out there and buy their music, their movies. They want us to participate in all of that. But when it comes to say, okay, come on, the Black elitists, come on, the Black filmmakers and actors and writers and producers, come on, hip hop stars, celebrities, come on and help the Black community to get money. And yet they're behind closed doors telling white daddy and white mommy that we don't need anything. You understand? You dig? And they hijacked themselves in our movement. And there was a reason for them to do so. Okay? The only one that we had approved so far to be a part of our movement was Ice Cube, because Ice Cube understood what was going on on the grassroots level. He understood the struggle, as he said, F the police. And so you have D.L. Hughley out here trying to say, oh, he just had to call on the guy who made the Friday movies. Well, what kind of buffoonery, coonery movies you been making? Your stand-up comedy routine. Okay? Jason Black talked about why so many Black males are comedians. These were the class clowns. These were the people who did not have an attention span. Okay, they said a lot of things about, they did a lot of jokes, and when Ricky Spalley brought Kamala Harris onto his program, you see, he sort of moved away from the questions of what he was going to ask her, and just told Black folks, "Oh, now you go out there and vote for her, man, because still, man, I like it, man. She smoked weed and she bumped Tupac back in high school." It's the same thing with Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton was walking around talking about she had hot sauce in her purse, and then they're going to say that Charlemagne the God or the fraud, is the person who's asking the tough questions. You know that these politicians never ever come to those people who speak truth to power, and they won't do it because they know that we basically is going to tell them the truth. We're going to ask the real questions. We're going to ask them the true questions as to what you're going to do for the Black community, which they know that they're not going to do a damn thing. Now it's all about LGBT, gay community. It's all about women issues. It's all about, transsexual bathrooms. Now it's going to be all of this stuff that basically doesn't mean anything, because the Democrats have a history of this. The Democrats basically is not going to do nothing for the Black community, as you will see in their Lift Every Voice initiative. The ideal that the Democratic Party has done anything for the Black folks in this community is ignorant, is foolish. But that's how they have to get the Black elitists. The Black elitists have to be the ones that comes and help them to get this vote. And we're still questioning the fact as to how Joe Biden won this election. see him stealing this election like a thief in night, the Grinch that stole the political election. And the ideal of saying that there's no evidence of foul play, you have not seen Georgia specifically go blue in a very long time. It has always been red. It has been voting red for a very long time. Okay, the ideal that I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, Georgia went with McCain when Obama ran, if I'm not mistaken. But here is the pity about this, is that people want Joe Biden in office not to and trying to basically hide his record and allowing him to have so much excuses about what he did with the 1994 crime bill, and then is saying the pastors told him that he should do it, that the black community has told him he should do it. Because look, okay, will the black community dare to ask their pastors in the congregation, listen, Reverend such and such, did you support the 1994 crime bill? How dare my congregation ask me that? You understand? As far as some of these reverends out here and pastors and preachers. That's the reason why the New Voices of Black Media was started. It was started because the white media was not applying the facts and the pressure on these politicians. We did not get the hard analysts as to what was going on within the black community, their developmentation of lying and manipulating and creating false narratives that the black community can then lift themselves up with the bootstraps and do not have boots to even begin. Talk to you over and over again about how white people get entitlements from the government all the time. And nobody tells them they should not be asking the government for handouts. But you know, when we talk there about entitlements, of course you think that we're talking about black folks and people who are on welfare, the poor. No, we're talking about those entitlements where white people go and lobby for legislation to be passed so that they can get loans on their signatures, so they can get grants and other types of things, opportunity zones and other types of things that help them to build up their ecological system, not to mention the black folks who are staying in their neighborhoods who they don't want in their neighborhoods, so they move. And then they'll let you they'll tell you straight up, I don't want to stay with these black folks. They're going to bring the property value down. I'm going to move in this community, even though you're staying in a white city, a white suburb. I don't want you niggers here. We don't want you niggers attending our schools. We don't want you to do this and do that. And black folks laugh it off. Well, we're going to stay here anyhow. Ignorant, foolish, ignorant, stupidity all day. The ideal here is that Joe Biden is a Grinch because he is a person who is a mastermind of deflection. He is mastermind in trigonometry. He can master how to get out of a lot of things. He learned that from Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton also, when he was basically hammered on the 1994 crime bill, when he signed it into law, he was hammered. And then he used what? A white supremacist conserving talking point. The black men were in the streets killing each other, and we had to do something about it. Yeah, no, after all, when you bring the guns and you bring all the drugs from all over here, from Mexico and other places, and then put it right into the black community, so these foolish, ignorant Negroes can basically engage in that type of crime and then give them some time in jail and prison for then falling within white supremacy's trap. Somebody talk black to me. But anyway, now Trump is upset, and I don't blame him. because this election was stolen like a thief in the night. Allison Duque of Forbes magazine write that Trump goes to Supreme Court, files lawsuit to stop vote counting in Pennsylvania. You see, the Trump campaign is filing multiple lawsuits in Pennsylvania targeting the state rules for election observers mail-in ballots, as well as intervene in an ongoing U.S. Supreme Court case regarding the state's mail-in ballot deadline, the campaign said Wednesday, ramping up the GOP's legal efforts to the battleground state as a race between President Donald Trump and Joe Biden narrows. The Trump campaign said in a statement that Wednesday that they is suing Pennsylvania to stop the state from hiding the ballots counted and processing from our Republican polls observance, specifically mentioning a policy that requires poll watchers to stand in 25 feet from where the counting process is taking place. Now, this is according to the poll watchers that said that they were not allowed to watch the ballots. Now, I'm just reading what Forbes magazine said. I'm not for it or against it here. I know a lot of you want to put me in that label. But here's the thing, though. I mean, in every state, this man was defeating Biden. I'm just going to have to call it like it is. I mean, I was just sitting there looking, man, he was getting this state was red, that state was red, boom, boom, boom. And then around 3 o'clock, everything just stopped. You're like, what the hell happened? And then it started slowing down. I was like, damn, they're wrecking some stuff here. They're doing the same thing. This is a repeat from the Bush and Gore era, where Bush stole the election. Now, I guess this is payback by the Democrats to basically steal the election. Okay, I have no problem with it. If you want Trump out of office, I have no problem with it. Have no problem with him getting out of office. That's fine. But no black person has ever gave us a rationale as to why we should vote for Joe Biden. Is he less of a white supremacist? Is he less of a person who is not going to grout at you? Is he a white supremacist who is smiling in your face? You got a lot of Negroes who's still on a plantation out here, and they're happy and excited and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I wanted him out of office. Oh, I wanted him out of office. Oh, thank God there is a God. Okay? Yeah. In other words, this slave master was harsh. He was brutal. He was basically just telling you what he's not going to do for you. This is the type of mentality that on the Trump plantation was given to his Negro flunkies. So how about we just take you away from the Trump plantation, and yes, black people, you can go over there to the Biden plantation. Same little thing that they did in slavery. And he was and they were talking, he was talking rude to me. And I just don't like it. Can I go to can I go to the Biden plantation? Well, yes, boy, go ahead and get in there. This is what this is about. You know, saying white daddy is being too harsh for me. He is basically just won't stop being rude. I'm ready to go to another plantation. And now you're going to the Biden plantation. You're going to a slave master now who is going to be nice. He's going to smile at you. He's going to be kind to you. He is not going to be rude. He's not just going to just say whatever in his mouth, in his mind. This is what black folks are wanting here. That's the reason why they went out and voted for this man. Now, I still doubt that this was a huge turnout as Joe Biden claimed it was, as far as he got more people to vote for him than Obama. Because even Obama had a lot of folks that all across the world who basically was enjoying his win. But Joe Biden is saying that he basically got more votes than Obama. I don't believe that. It's kind of eerie to me that he will make that announcement and he will say that black people finally came through for him. Really? And the ideal here is that the Hispanics, if they did go for Republican, that means then that they would have to also go with Jim Crow Joe Biden. And so therefore, if this is true, that means that the Hispanics are going to have to then have a huge blow to themselves because they were on the Trump bandwagon at that point. Can Hispanics now vouch for themselves as when Joe Biden said, well, you wasn't my base, the black community was? And if so, what is Joe Biden going to do for the black community for coming through for him? Again, as he said in his own words. The ideal here is to say that we're going to then give black folks all the props. We're going to say, yes, black people, you came out and you did it. You sent in those mail-in ballots. You did it, black folks. You did it. All right, election time. All right. So Kamala Harris, she's changing herself from a black person. It's no longer the first black woman to ever do this or to be vice president. It's now the first Indian woman. You see how that works? Okay. And you had Kamala Harris up there talking about, and to you black girls, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. You can do this, you can achieve that. Okay, I like the speech, have no problem with it. But when these black girls grow up and learn about how Kamala got to the top, whereas she slept her way in state politics, and then after that, she started to then date white daddy. That is what you're going to teach your black daughters and your Indian daughters to do, huh? That this is how you make it to the top of the political structure? By having on your arms white daddy? And she made sure that he stayed behind the scenes so that the black girls that she was trying to appeal to didn't see that she's up at the top, but then she got white daddy there. Okay? Is that how you reach the top of the goal here? Is that how you basically get into the high horse, as you say that this is the second highest place in the land, which we already know it is the second puppeteer for the white elitist class and these bought and paid for Negro flunkies that happens to allow white supremacists to then lie to the black community every 4 years, talking about they're going to do something for us? No. The ideal here is that she is telling these young Indian girls, these young black girls, these young Jamaican girls, these young Hispanic girls, that this is what I've done. I slept my way to the state politics, and then when I started to get into the Senate race and so whatever race, I went over there and I married White Daddy. And White Daddy loves me. And now she's speaking to the audience of women who basically is looking, if they looked at her background, they will see how she did it. That's not the example that a black woman or an Indian woman should be basically having to deal with in order to be successful in America. I mean, let's look at it. Let's just call it for what it is. You had this woman who is Jamaican and Indian, and she basically put black men and women in jail. Look at how her truancy policies affected black female parents. and therefore put them in jail. And as they were basically coming and getting into the squad car, you had Kamala Harris laughing and giggling about it. You see? And yes, black people are going to basically like that. They don't care about the demise done to other black people as long as it's just not done to you, right? Well, if that's the case, if you want to go that way, let's look at the 4 years until which you're going to have Kamala Harris and Joe Jim Crow Biden, what they're going to do in their Lift Every Voice plan. Nothing. It is the same approach that was in Donald Trump's plan. But all of a sudden, they changed gears when Ice Cube met with the Trump administration. Joe Biden said, and his administration said, no, wait out the election. Okay, now the election is over. Are you going to meet with Ice Cube? Now that you're in office, what are you going to do for the black community? They're not going to be here saying too much about black folks. Because remember, this is the party of the gays, the transsexuals, the LGBT community, women rights, children rights. But what about men? No, I don't give a damn about no men. This is their party. They do not include black men in this party. And some of us are waking up to understand that. Now, the black elitists and the black civil rights leaders and the black celebrities really wouldn't care about that because they got money. So they go on a Democratic Party because your black elitists told them to. And so therefore, that's the reason why D.L. Hughley is coming out making this foolish noise that he's making. You did? Foolish American politics. Let's discuss the issues. My book. We are live on YouTube and on Instagram. Facebook is limited because I am coming back there pretty soon. And I think so. Republicans like to use our talking points on the grassroots level. You have Candace Owens, got Diamond and Silk out here. They've been used by the conservative Republican Party for so much. You know, Candace Owens, she here again, she's with her zaddy. And they don't understand that as they get older, zaddy does not want them no more. Okay? Look at Stacey Dash. Look at what's this woman name? The supermodel. It's going to come to me in a minute. Okay, Tyra Banks. She's having problem with her zaddy. You see, these black women who basically do date outside their race, and I'm not saying that there's a problem with that, but look at how their zaddy is now treating them as they get older. And look at even when she lost the black girl's attitude. They both lost the black girl's attitude, and because they know that white zaddy is not going to go for that. You understand? You dig? But I think here you got to understand that we basically is looking at a race where now black men are going to be put back into their position. They didn't want black men to basically have any power in this society. They don't want us to have any power. So the only thing that they want to do is feminize us and basically turn us into gay and all this other stuff so that we won't appropriate. They're doing the same thing with the women in the LGBT community, so they won't appropriate. You have Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci. As soon it was announced that Biden win, I call him Bill Fakes and Dr. Slouchy. That's what I call them, because them two was upset with Donald Trump because he was being stubborn as to how the vaccine was going to be administered. You see, these white elitists, they want the Democrats to help them with their plans of getting that vaccine out to people. And Donald Trump was basically saying, well, wait a minute, is this safe or not? He was asking the questions, and he was not a part of this quote unquote elitist who was trying to experiment on us, even though they all hung out together, they went to school together, what have you. So I think what has to happen now is that if you look at the vaccine that they're trying to give us, okay, just basically read. See, this is what black folks don't do. When we are given medication and prescription medication, we don't look at all of the things that they got in the description of how they made this medication. You did? So, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden stole the election. They wanted Joe Biden in there because he was going to basically make sure that the white elitists, and a lot of white elitists are liberals. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they're liberals. And we can talk and argue about what Democrats have done or Republicans have not done. That's fine. That's argument. Okay, cool. Let's put that to the side right now. I'm talking about our lives right now. Why is it that Dr. Fauci, Dr. Slouchy, and Bill Gates want Biden in office more over Trump? Because he can basically get these vaccines out moreover with a liberal politician than he can a conservative politician. If you look at what they're doing with these vaccines, and you all in the hood and the ghetto, they're going to be first experiment on you, just like they did over there in Africa. So yes, you can say basically vote Democrat all you want. Fine. Go ahead and vote Democrat. That's your prerogative. Okay, of course, as I didn't vote at all because I knew that we had a plan that if we didn't get our tangibles, we're not going to vote at all. And I didn't show up to the polls, and neither did people who I knew on the grassroots level, because we didn't get our vote. We didn't get no tangibles. Nobody was not promising us anything. And that's the reason why I'm asking, how did Joe Biden, with his white supremacist rhetoric, get all the black people who they claim that he got? If you can't investigate that fairly, you got to wait a minute, at least ask the question though, even if you don't like Trump. I give you that. Like I said, go ahead and get Trump out of office if you want, but just answer the question though, because that's what black folks refuse to do. Okay, I'll sit down here and agree with you that Trump is a racist. Fine, I'll agree with that all day. Okay, but what about Joe Biden? He was Obama vice president. No, but what did he do for black folks? You see, you can't answer the question. You can't. Black people, when you ask them about what Joe Biden did for you, hell with that. Even if you ask them what Obama did for 8 years, they can't answer the question. It's just go and vote for the liberals. Go and vote for them. And why? The question has to be, why? So what we were saying on the grassroots level is that we question this. We question the winning of Joe Biden. We just question it. Okay? And basically, if he won, okay, he won. That's fine. But did he win fair and square? All I'm asking is, did he win? Was there people actually voting in this election when they did those mail-in ballots? Oh, that's all I want to know. Okay, if he won fair and square, fine. But let's be fair about this. Why do Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates want Joe Biden in office more of Donald Trump? Because they wanting to push these vaccines in the Black community. And Black people have always often contribute to their own demise. They did so in slavery. When Reverend Nat Turner with Sister Georgia Truth or Harriet Tubman, and throughout the history, Black folks have always told the slave master about a slave revolt. And so the slave master, even after the Negro who told the slave master that there was going to be a vote, even he died for going around telling. You understand? We've been basically consistent in our own demise. We've been very consistent in our own demise. We have often done that. And basically, we would think that, since our parents basically had to go through these things, you would think that we should basically have learned our lesson from this. We have not learned our lesson from what went on, and basically understand that the Democrats have not done anything for Black folks. Let's be very honest about that. We're sitting here for 20 damn years, and we out here see these politicians out here talking about yes, and wanting us to basically vote for what? No one can answer that question. And this is the reason why we're leaving the Trump plantation and we're now going to the Biden plantation, because he is less of a white supremacist, because he's calm, because he's not going to just say what Max taught us this. He taught us that I want to hear what a man let me know, what a white man let me know where he stands. I want to hear where he has to say. I want you to tell me where you stand. Okay? And he said that. That's what Malcolm said. Instead of this other white man who is going to come to me smiling, and he's nothing more than a devil. I want to hear you tell me the truth. I don't want you come smiling at me. Tell me what tell me what the situation is. You see, kids all the time, when they get a spanking, when they get a whooping, when kids get a spanking, they get a whooping, they get in trouble, kids deal with the situation for what it is. They say, I got in trouble. You ask them, why did I get in trouble? Because I stayed out at 11 o'clock and I was supposed to be in. They deal with the issue. Black folks can't deal with the issue. Well, I want to go with Master Biden, because Master Biden he don't sound as racist as Master Trump do, and I'm just sick and tired of being on his plantation, because he basically just keep on just talking down to us, and I just want him. I just want to leave the plantation. Can we go to the Biden plantation, please? I want to basically that y'all listen to Van Jones. Did y'all hear Van Jones crying and whipping on TV? What in the hell? You lost your respect for with women, on TV whipping like that, man. They can wake up tomorrow. Man, I wish I had that video clip to show you. Let's take a call, man. This is crazy. Area code 3104. You're live with Lawyer Henderson. Go ahead, man.
Henderson, how you doing today?
What's up, man? What's going on?
It's Pianki.
Yeah, go ahead, man. What say you? Go ahead.
Well, you was talking about Van Jones. I really don't care for him. I don't have anything against him. I just don't care.
Right.
But they used to talk about black actors having to wear a dress.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, there's two dresses.
Mm-hmm.
One is the article clothing, and the other one is tears on TV.
Right.
Like Mr. Jones is expressing. So, in the form, that's his dress.
Yeah.
But no, Trump business, well, Trump done a lot. If you look at and I think I linked you, Black Enterprise Top 100 businesses. Those businesses done very well because of tax terrorists and tax reform terrorists and the other things that it offers. Now, here's another point. This election has been tainted.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if the candidates were Mickey Mouse and Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to be gotten to the bottom of it. Those that had anything to do with making this stuff happen need to be brought in and punished severely. Because we cannot have that. And in the past, let's talk about blacks.
Okay.
Blacks have always complained in certain areas about how their elections were drawn, votes weren't counted, and so on, so on, so on. So under those circumstances, we tolerate that. Elections have to be fair, legal, and transparent. And I think Trump would get to the bottom of it. But them damn Democrats, man, them are some lousy. Not all of them, but the ones that's out there, they're really terrible, man. I'm telling you. And it don't make any sense because the world is watching.
Right.
And the world has always looked to the United States as being that big brother as an example of what democracy should be in a community. How's everything with you?
I'm doing good. I've been basically working on more content, doing more video stuff, trying to line up some editors. Supposed to be taking a trip to Washington, D.C. next month. So I'm pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that sounds good. What type of video are you engaged in?
Well, this is just video for all kinds of news stories, getting people's opinions so I can put it on my YouTube channel and to basically get that all off the ground there. So, yeah.
Well, you might want to check with Epic News. They may need some video graphics. It's one of the trusted news sources that's out there. There's a couple of them. And I know I received their newspaper, a sample. I really like this content, man. But you might check with them. Ask them, is there any way that you can provide them with some content for their stories?
Okay. All right.
Might prove to be beneficial for Epic, EPOCH, I believe is how they spell it. But anyway, I'm going to let you get back to your program. I really appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. So we're taking your calls at 516-418-5867. Folks, that's the problem. We've been whipping so much. We've been crying so much on this plantation. And it's like, I think we're going to go back to sleep under Jim Crow Joe Biden. We're just going to. Because black folks think that Democrats are their friends. And we often go to sleep under a Democratic establishment. We do. Let's just be real about it. Now, an article came out in Salon that says that if Trump tries to sue his way to election victory, hear what happens. Okay, he can go all the way to the Supreme Court, but U.S. District Judge Timothy Savage was quoted and said, in this case, the Pennsylvania has violated the law by allowing voters whose mail-in ballots were defective to correct them, but a lot harder to provide evidence of wrongdoing of convincing a legal argument. I don't understand how the integrity of the election was affected. This is coming from District Judge Timothy Savage. And then he goes on to say that something he repeated, well, they said something he repeated several times during the hearing. A lawsuit without provable facts showing a statutory of constitutional violation is just a tweet with a filing fee, said Justin Levitt, a professor of Loyola Law School in Los Angeles. Okay. I don't know if Trump actually lost this election. I really don't think he lost it. Now, can he go to the Supreme Court and fight and to say that that was fraud? He probably can, but there won't be a legal standard, I don't think. I have not known. Well, they did mention a legal standard when they did the press conference. I think they said Utah or something versus the United States may be a great argument for him. If there's dead people, voting, that is a situation of fraud. It could be. I don't know if that will amount to any changes of the vote. It may or may not. Trying to be fair here and in this whole situation, because I don't like Jim Crow Joe Biden at all, specifically because of the 1994 crime bill and putting fellow black men and women in jail. At all. Okay, so I will let you know that. And that is the deal. Joe Biden basically was not never it was never a fan of mine at all. Was never a fan. And the reason why he wasn't is because I sat and watched him. Well, I didn't sit and watch, but I read about and had information and evidence that he worked with known segregationists when he was in the Senate or the House or whatever. And he said, "Oh, my little white blonde child going to school with you, the black kids and stuff." He was basically saying all of this, but he wants us now all of a sudden to come together and do what, Joe? So you can put some more black men in jail? What are we coming together for, Joe? Huh? Can Joe can Joe explain? Now I want y'all to listen to this, y'all. I thought this was very funny. I thought this was hilarious. Uh, okay, I heard enough. I heard enough. Let's cut it off. I heard enough. Man, I heard enough. I heard enough. I heard enough, man. Come on. Bull crap. Racism just didn't start when Donald Trump was in office, when he was elected. Come on, man. Barack Obama sat there and watched Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown get shot and killed by police officers, and he did nothing. Come on, dude. Let's go ahead and let's call it what it is. What it is. It's easy to be a parent. Come on, man. You up there crying in front of these white folks and either be a parent, blah blah. Come on. Stop up here whipping. This is the type of black men they like to put on the news. These crybaby, butt-broken Negroes. They want them to be trotted out in front of us. This is what kind of black men they like to basically bring on television. These butt-broken Negroes. They don't want real masculine black men on television anymore. It's easy to be a parent today. And you don't have to watch out. And he started crying, not because of George Floyd, what happened to George Floyd. He started crying, talking about the Dreamers Act and immigrants and Muslims. And he mentioned he didn't mention anything about black folks, but with the exception of saying George Floyd. And my sister can go to the car without being called names. You don't think that your sister have not been called a nigger bitch before? Come on, man. All right. Okay, area code 504. What you got for me? Man, hi, I'm doing good. How you doing, Eric?
Yeah, so Sandra Bland, that occurred during the Obama era pre-Trump. Michael Brown, Obama era pre-Trump. Just all kind of Trayvon Martin, obviously, was pre-Trump, Obama era. So racism, as you mentioned, is definitely a pre-Trump era phenomenon and devastation. So Van Jones and others like him are not exactly sure what it means. So disingenuous about this. Once Trump is gone and once Biden is gone, he's still going to have to live with going forward. So I'm not really sure what the purpose, because this is the second time I've seen Van Jones just openly cry like that, on air. And, I understand people can be emotional, but some of his, like I said, I think they're trying to portray or just trying to send a message of just, weakness or just being overly emotional, maybe being overly emotional about a particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is one kind of crying to come forward to bring forth. I'm not really sure what his motive was, but I think they do want to present the black men in a particular way. Images are put out there for a reason and for a purpose. It's not by accident that certain images about the black community is put out there. They're engineered and structured to be presented in a certain way. As you mentioned, in terms of whether being dangerous or homosexual in terms of men, or just being incompetent fathers or leaders in the community. Those are some of the most prevalent stereotypes that we see about black men uncaring in the media. And so I think this is just a further conditioning in terms of how black men want to be, how they want black men to be portrayed and presented. So it's very peculiar for me just to see him respond and act that way. Blacks in general, in terms of voting, they're excited for Biden. Understanding that they need to get rid of Trump, but Biden really hasn't shown anything that's really going to be uplifting towards the black community. In particular, that's my main concern, the black community. And I think blacks are so involved with having a face in place during the Kamala Harris, whether she's going to actually do something for the black community. Her past behavior has indicated that she's not her allegiance is not to the upliftment of the black community, but to the destruction of the black community. So
Right.
Those are the types of things Negroes and destructive Negroes they want in offices, whether it's vice president, or dog catcher. They want somebody who's going to These are the kind of images and people we see on TV and the kind of people that we get in the office that a lot of us just so happy to see our own destruction and loss of the black face. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
It feels good to see someone black destroy us. That seems to be the end result of it.
Right.
Black.
Yeah, as long as they just have a black face in politics, it doesn't matter because you can basically you don't know that that black politicians his policies, and a lot of them, almost all of them, is in the pocket of somebody else, but they just want you to go out there and vote for them, and so you can get, you will give them their support, and you're like, well, okay, what are you going to do for for the constituency who went out there and took off from work to vote for you? What's going on? They just basically just it's all about being in pocket with those people who got the money. And so it's very important that we start to really educate ourselves politically about what's going on here. All right, any final thoughts about this Joe Biden? Did you think he stole the election, or he basically won it fair and square?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think he stole it because, I didn't really keep up with it. I had to hear back because other people in my household were all into it. I wasn't, so I just had to really hear what was going on. But, all of a sudden, you have Trump in the head, and all of a sudden, he's bound by X amount of electoral votes. I think he moves. I don't think his electoral votes from one night to today did not move from 213. And all of a sudden, you get all these extra votes coming out of the woods, out of the swamp, and all these
Yeah.
votes just happen to be for Biden.
Yeah, you had dead people. You had dead people voting as well. It's like, wait a minute, go on. So, do you think you have a? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we found this 18-wheeler full of votes, and all of them, 100% of them just have to be for Biden. And none of the votes that they happen to find, not one of them is for Trump.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just even if you're trying to run a con game, a con game has to have some degree of reality to it. Otherwise, you can see right through it.
Yeah.
But to me, it's so obvious a lot of these things are just setups.
Absolutely.
These fake votes coming in. And I'm not a Biden fan at all. I'm not a Trump fan. I think both of them are corrupt.
Yeah, both of them corrupt, but yeah, it's like it's like if I think that the black community is better under Trump, but a lot of people are saying, well, we can get more out of Joe Biden, and everybody said, well, he's been there for 47 years. What are we going to get from him? That he could have did for us for 47 years, as a career politician. And nobody cannot answer that question. No, I'm just asking. Both of them is no good, but I'm trying to figure out, okay, why black folks out here shouting and yelling and screaming for Joe Biden for? I just don't understand it. I just,
a lot of it's so gullible.
Yeah.
Want somebody to show any kind of attention towards us. It has to be negative attention or positive attention. Even though we're not going to get anything out of them, it's just want somebody to look at us and accept us and validate.
Right.
Make us feel like we belong. And I was just supposed to we're going to party and have a good time and dance. What are you going to party and have a good time for?
Yeah.
This clown's not in office yet.
Yeah.
Partying about something that hasn't even occurred. What are you going to actually put on the table?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of women like the right. A lot of women like the fact that Kamala Harris, is going to be the first vice president, but that doesn't sit right with white women. I don't think. I think white women are upset right now as far as allowing Kamala Harris to be their vice president. They want it. Don't get me wrong. They want a woman in office, just not her. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but the white elitists, as long as they can get somebody.
Right now, it's really psychological test slapping the white woman around.
Yeah.
Let a black man get in there before a white woman. Let a half black woman get in there before a white woman. So he's really torturing the white woman's psyche, And it's interesting the dynamics going on there.
Right. Absolutely.
The one thing I'm going to say about it is this allows black girls to see what they can become just because
Yeah.
So supposedly, of all the ethnic, black woman is the most educated ethnic there is in the United States.
Oh, absolutely.
They needed Kamala Harris to see that they can achieve. They have the highest level of education than anybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah, the most educated. Absolutely.
So that's another plan they put out there, just, I guess, to make people think that this position that Kamala Harris is so important. I think black women have always known the importance of achieving and knowing that they can achieve, because they're doing it already. But Kamala's around and that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have to leave it like that. I have to wrap up the show. Thank you for your call, though, sir.
Take care, bro.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, before we leave, just real quick, I just think that women do want to have a woman president. I agree. I agree with that. I know that that's very important for women to do or to have a woman in office. I know a lot of females are what I'm saying, with that pride basically is saying, okay, yes, we finally got somebody to look up to. Now, yes, that's the good part about it. You got a female who is the second head in office. These young girls say, oh, I can strive to be like that. In that regard, yes, but hopefully these girls don't look at Kamala Harris' background and thinking her route is very effective. But to see her as one of the first woman, well, the first woman to be the vice president of the United States, that's encouraging to these young women. And if they go and take it like that, then yes, that could help out. That can inspire them more. That can boost their self-esteem up. And so young girls do need that. They do need that particular image. But like I said, don't look at her background now. Just focus on her being in that office and guiding yourself through a way that I can achieve the goals. Okay. And so yes, that do bring a lot of young women pride, and women in general pride. That is something that they always wanted. They wanted to see a woman run the country, and that's important for them. Okay, because already know if something happened to Jim Crow Joe Biden. She's going to be the president if something happened to him, or he become disabled and incompetent, because he's already in the early stages of Alzheimer's, and even on his debates, he's kind of flipping off a little bit, but yeah, that's something that women do want, and on that regard, yeah, I do support that as far as them having pride that saying that you got a woman now taking charge as the vice president. That's something that was really historic. All right, so finally, we're going to end it today by talking a little bit briefly about Ice Cube contract with Black America. Now, as you know, that the Biden campaign told him to wait until after the election. Okay, now it appears that the election is gone. So now, is they're going to hold this meeting with Ice Cube, or was they just lying? Okay, that's what you all who are Black liberals, I want y'all to understand. Now, don't call me no conservative, but what I want you to do is, okay, they said they're going to meet with Ice Cube about his plan. Okay, remember, after the election, that's what they said. So, since it's after the election, answer the question: do y'all think that they're going to meet with Ice Cube? Just answer. That's all I want to know. Okay, Joe Biden and the Biden campaign said that after the election, everything is over. Yes, we'll be willing to meet with you. Kamala Harris, he gave her, they got Ice Cube number. He asked for the call. Miss Harris never responded. So it's kind of like some shenanigans going on here with them talking about Ice Cube contract with Black of America. And you see Jim Crow, Sloppy Joe Jim Crow out there talking about the Black community came through again for him. Okay, Sloppy Joe Jim Crow, if the Black community came for you, if they came through for you, the question in your administration and during your administration, even the first 100 days, when you claim that you're going to help the gays, the LGBT, or these transsexuals with bathrooms, question still remains what you're going to do for the Black community who came and saved your ass, as you say in your own words. You are a thief, in my opinion. But even if, as you have stolen office, that's fine. Like a Grinch and a thief at night. But while you in that home of thievery and your thievery position, what can the Black community expect? Can they expect reparations? Can they expect other types of tangibles? Now, you did say that if you got in office, Jim Crow, that you were going to give Black people reparations only if the Native Americans was also given the same thing. Isn't that what Jim Crow Joe Biden said? The Native Americans get to also enjoy the fruits of our labor as far as reparations when they're going to be able to get reparations. Huh, Jim Crow Joe Biden? Is we're going to get our reparations now that you're in office? Is we're going to get our tangibles? What is the Black community going to get? Or are you going to keep on trying to say, well, we'll give you niggers some loans and you got to qualify from some banks and stuff? Folks, they've done this before. They gave out loans during slavery. They gave out loans to freemans in the 1860s. Remember, I talked about when they set up the Freedmen's Bureau. Remember the four banks. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the four banks tomorrow that engage in slavery. And we'll talk about how they contribute to the slave trade. I mean, they basically, the slave trade helped them to build their businesses. That's the reason why J.P. Morgan is the biggest bank right now on Wall Street. Chase is one of the biggest banks. Bank of America, Citibank, and Wells Fargo. But during the time there was Wachovia, it basically had the slave trade, and that's how they contributed in building up their businesses and their financial institutions. And it was Bank of America who said that we're going to invest $1 billion in the Black community, but they're not telling us who this money is going to. Notice they're not telling us how we can attract this money that they said that they're going to give to the Black community during the pandemic and in the situation of Black Lives Matter. So this is all a bunch of malarkey. This is all a bunch of BS. We need to start seeing the money. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Join us tomorrow when we talk there about the four banks that contribute to the slave trade. I'm Lawyer Henderson. I'm your brother. I'm your host. I'm your friend. Exactly to the end.